Hello, it's Lynn Watts here, and today I want to talk about a picture book that you could use in a lesson on growth mindset. So, growth mindset, of course, was created or maybe discovered is the word by Carol Dweck in her many studies and research on children and how they learn. And so, typically, when you're talking about growth mindset, you're going to talk about things like persisting even through failure, recognizing that it takes effort to learn, that persistence, practice, continuing to move ahead with something that is difficult is part of growth mindset. Fixed mindset, on the other hand, usually focuses more on how we might give up in the face of a challenge, how we maybe have not learned something. And so we feel like I'm not any good at that. I simply can't learn that. That's more of a fixed mindset. So hopefully you're already familiar with that, but it's very important that we challenge young students and help them understand also how their mindset, their approach to learning can truly impact what they're able to accomplish and how they're able to succeed. And part of that is looking at many different layers of a mindset and how we think. So the book, which you may already be familiar with, it's a very popular book, I think, among elementary school counselors, is Giraffes Can't Dance. And it is written by Giles Andrea, I think is how you would say that last name. And very colorful, very engaging kind of book. But the gist of the story is a giraffe who attends a regular dance that all the animals in the forest, or let's say the jungle, that's where you would find a giraffe, right, have on a regular basis. And once he starts trying to move to the music and enjoy the music, he doesn't feel very confident of himself. So that's first. But secondly, it says that the other animals, as they watched him, began to make fun of him and let him know that they didn't feel like he could dance either. So they say to him, he's clumsy, giraffes can't dance. So there's sort of a stereotype there, and they just say he's silly and he's weird. So, of course, he leaves the dance and is feeling very down, very lonely, very sad, and he begins to talk to a cricket who gives him some very good advice, which is that sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. So he begins to listen to the sounds around him, the sounds of the jungle, the sounds of the night. And without really thinking about it very much, he begins to dance. He feels inspired by the sounds around him, which sound like music, of course, to him. And he begins to feel much better and more confident about dancing. Meanwhile, the other animals come upon him dancing, and they also, and this is an interesting concept here. Is it the fact that he feels good about it and feels confident? Is that why now the animals recognize that he is a good dancer, even though he arguably is probably not doing anything different than what he did before? So they feel like it's a miracle that they must be in a dream. He's the best dancer they've ever seen. So now he's being encouraged by those around him. When they ask, how did you learn to dance so well? He simply says, we all can dance when we find music that we love. So lots of different messages in there. You can certainly talk about the importance of supporting others, even when they are different and they respond in different ways. We can talk about how we're all good at something. We can talk about how there are many different ways to do things, whether that's dancing or whether that's art or whether that is something more academic. There's just so many layers in here that you could talk about in that story. But I think it's a great story, really, for all ages, especially if you're teaching a concept of growth mindset. So, hope that is something that you can use as you work with and inspire young children to keep trying and to persist in what they have passion for. Thanks as always for listening.